You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com. Bitcoin, Ether, Solana, Doge, and more. Cryptocurrencies and digital assets are taking the financial world by storm. This exploding market provides everything a savvy trader needs: volatility, volume, and liquidity, provided you know how to find it. That's where we come in. Welcome to the Crypto Rundown. Each week, we'll break down the latest trading activity, trends, and developments throughout the world's leading crypto derivatives markets. If it's moving the crypto markets, then you'll find it on the Crypto Rundown. The Crypto Rundown is brought to you by Amber Data. If you're entering the digital asset class, you'll need access to granular on-chain and market data from multiple venues to power research, trading, risk management, and compliance. Amber Data delivers comprehensive data and insights into blockchain networks, crypto markets, and decentralized finance, empowering financial institutions to apply traditional finance methods to digital assets. Amber Data eliminates the infrastructure setup, integration challenges, and maintenance headaches to access digital asset data, reducing cost and time to market to enter the digital asset class. Learn more and download their digital asset data guide at www.amberdata.io. Now it's time to dive into the exploding world of crypto derivatives. It's time for the Crypto Rundown.
All right, everybody. That music means we are back for an emergency Monday episode of the Crypto Rundown. I am traveling. I am in the Eastern studio, which is probably why I sound a little bit different. The Hall of Fame studio. Actually, I'm actually in a nice boardroom across the street from the Football Hall of Fame here in Canton, Ohio. Expecting a quieter start to the week than, of course, we ended up getting here. But nonetheless, no rest for the wicked. My trip will have to wait because the crypto markets are calling. My name, of course, Mark Longo from theoptionsinsider.com, as well as from the network upon which all of you folks are binging, and many of you are relying upon these days for some reliable information in these tumultuous times, to say the least, that we are all living through together. You know the deal by now. Theoptionsinsider.com/pro is the place to go to get access to awesome pro Q&As, which I think many of you could probably benefit from right now, as well as, of course, options oddities, breaking down unusual activity, live streams of this, everything else we do, and a whole bunch more. TheOptionsInsider.com/pro is the place to go for all that fun. As we dive right on into it, listeners. Oh, by the way, before we do that really quickly, all this data we're talking about today and a whole bunch more brought to you by our friends over there at Amber Data, amberdata.io, the place to go to kick the tires and light the fires. And I do mean a whole bunch more. We really do just scratch the surface. They have awesome stuff like ETH versus Bitcoin term structure comparisons, and you name it. Again, we're kind of doing a Just the Facts Ma'am edition because these markets were melting down before our eyes, and a lot of people were scrambling, running around like chickens with their heads cut off, which means they need a crypto rundown in their lives, and it is time for the Bitcoin Breakdown.
It's time to explore the latest trending activity, trends, and developments across the world's leading crypto market. It's time for the Bitcoin Breakdown.
All right, listeners, welcome to the Bitcoin Breakdown, the portion of the show where we do just that. We break down the action in the world's leading digital asset. Yep, I'm talking about the big dog, which is Bitcoin. Looking a lot smaller right now than it did on our last show last week. It seems like such a distant memory now. 67, 361 is where we were on the show this time a week ago. As we're kicking off the show right now, 54,731. You might say, oh my God, down 12,630 handles. The sky is falling, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. What is going on out there? It is the end of the world as we know it. But a little bit of perspective here. We have bounced off the lows. We actually broke 50K earlier this morning, much earlier in the morning, back when the rout really kicked off. We, of course, saw bad news out of Tokyo earlier this weekend. That sent the futures into a tailspin here in the S&P and the NASDAQ in the domestic markets. And Bitcoin, as it has been wont to do of late, kind of following suit, in many ways leading the charge to the downside. It hit a 49,514 earlier this morning before turning around. So now glass half full, glass half empty. The glass half empty look, we're down nearly 13,000 handles from where we were this time last week. Glass half full, we're up over 5,000 handles from where we were earlier this morning. So a little bit of a yin and yang out there for you folks out there, depending on how you want to look at it out there. But intriguing stuff. Another reminder that Bitcoin correlation is a finicky beast, to put it mildly. A lot of you out there have been looking for Bitcoin as kind of a non-correlated asset to put in your portfolio, maybe an inverse correlation to hedge against some of this. But as we've said many times on this show and other shows on the network, certainly in the last few years, Bitcoin correlation has kind of been a bit of a moving target, but certainly in the last few years in particular, it has correlated very highly to effectively a high tech allocation in your portfolio. So if you're long a lot of S&P already, which is a lot of tech-heavy names, or of course if you're long a lot of NASDAQ names, your Qs, you're along a lot of your Apples, your Nvidias, your all that fun stuff, Teslas, then you already have a lot of tech allocation in your portfolio. Maybe don't look to Bitcoin for respite in these troubled times, because that is exactly what it's delivering. Effectively, a high correlation to the tech names that are melting down today as well. Of course, there's also the old adage as well that when it all hits the fan at the end of the day, correlation tends to go to 1, and we're seeing a lot of that playing out again today, with some notable exceptions. Gold doing all right out there, not certainly selling off as badly as crypto is. So if you're looking to gold for a little bit of portfolio diversification, it's working out a little bit better. Bonds, not really saving you out there today in your broad portfolio. So kind of a weird one out there today, to say the least. But if you're turning to crypto as this non-correlated or perhaps diversified asset class, you're not really getting that right now. So there's something to bear in mind out there. I know the crypto lovers are not going to like that, but that's just the way it's shaking out right now, and it has done so for the better part of the last few years at the very least. Let's get out to the vol out there right now. And again, you're probably going to expect a little bit more vol on the tape, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Weekly and work our way out, as we like to do out there, listeners. A 7-day vol in Bitcoin right now at a whopping 84.4. That's up over 30 points. We were at a 51.6 this time a week ago. So we're up about 33 points almost on the week right now. So weekly vol looking juicy, as it should. Bitcoin has been, I think the technical term is, annihilated since our last show, and it also has rallied 5,000 handles just today. So we're moving quite a bit. A lot of vol being exhibited out there. Remember, vol moves in both directions, upside and downside. Everyone conflates vol with just downside, but upside moves also vol as well out there. A 30-day vol, a more standardized, a more, dare I say it, level-headed vol metric at a 65.5, so still looking pretty frothy out there, listeners. Our last show was a 51, so we're up 14.5 points in the 30-day vol. And going out a little bit farther, 6 months, are the hodlers, are they panicking, are they freaking out? The answer right now is no. We were at a 60 on the show this time a week ago, 62.5 right now. So vol up, but barely. So the hodlers are going to hodl. They're riding this one out. Doesn't seem like a lot of evolution on the vol front. Let's go to the Skew and see if the Skew holds any intriguing mysteries for us. Let's go out to the weekly Skew first, and as you would expect, the bulk of the impact is going to be seen and felt there. On the show a week ago, we were pretty much, I would term it flat. Positive 1 1/3, so not really in the annals of Bitcoin Skew, not much. I kind of call that flat. Right now, we are at a negative 10, so demonstrably negative, but maybe not as bad as you expected. The low came earlier this morning. When we broke through 50K, we only got down to about a negative 11. That kind of surprised me. I thought I might see a little bit more bearish sentiment on the weekly Skew. So the low is a negative 11 and about a negative 10 as we kicked off the show. Still obviously demonstrably bearish, but perhaps not as dire as you might think. So maybe for those of you looking for a ray of sunshine, perhaps that's it for you. As we go out to the 30-day skew, again, a little bit more level-headed metric, but still feeling the effects. It's not immune after all. Last show, we were at about a positive 2, so slightly bullish. Coming into the show right now, negative 4.2. So not that dire of a reaction out there as well. It's getting out to the longer term, the Hodler skew, the 180-day, the 6-month skew. It was at a positive, about a positive 4 this time a week ago, 3.9 to the upside. Right now at about a positive 3. So feeling the effects, but ever so slightly. Let's move on to some of the other names you folks like to sling on the Bitcoin front. Then we'll get to some of the altcoin universe that's feeling the heat right now as well. BITO. You folks love your BITO out there as exhibited by these volume numbers. You're not loving the underlying right now, though. 1775 was where BITO was when we kicked off the show today, listeners. That puts it down a whopping almost 6 handles, 5 and 3 handles. Let's see, how low did it get? Got down to 1617. That's where it pretty much opened this morning. So it opened at its low. Not that far above the 52-week low of 1278, listeners. So quite the route here for BITO. And just an annihilation out there. Even though, again, glass half full, it has rallied most of the morning from a low of around 16 to about 17.75 right now, but still down nearly $6 on the week. If you're looking to sell some puts, they were talking about that with Mr. Bill out there not too long ago out there. Probably got some decent premium for those earlier this morning if you were selling, let's say, 15 handle puts in BITO out there today. The volume ADV, 92,000, up about 2,000 this time last week. And today already over 100,000, 102,000 contracts. So surprise, surprise, BITO's putting up some numbers today. The vol also reflecting this action out there as well right now. 71 right now, up 14 points from where it was this time last week. So vol looking juicy out there in BITO. We'll skip over the top positions because they're pretty much the same. The Jan 30s and Jan 35s, they haven't really budged. Let's go see what's trading out there today because obviously a lot of paper hitting the tape today. The big dog today, nearly 9,000, 8,700 of the 20 calls expiring this Friday on the 9th. So 20s by Friday, I don't know, at a 1775, listeners. I mean, we have rallied over a point from this morning. Can we hit a 20 handle? Let's see what those are trading for. They're trading about 12, 13 cents. It looks like paper bought about nearly 9,000. You like those, listeners? A little bit of a flyer, 12, 13 cents for the 20s. The stock was actually higher when they bought those, right around 1790. So maybe not a good sign. If you're buying weekly calls and the stock has maybe petered out, at least for right now, that's not a good sign that you're going to hit the 20 strike by the end of the week. But again, looks like somebody taking a flyer on those 20s expiring this week. We also have the 8 call going up 4,000 times today, expiring on Friday as well. I don't have prices for those, but 14 cents for the 20s. 14 to 12 cents looks like a range. So intriguing stuff. Not sure I love it, but hey, if you like a little bit of a flyer, someone's taking one out there right now. If BITO's not doing it for you, too staid, too calm for you, allow me to present our levered friend BitX, aka Greg's favorite. 23.87 when we kicked off the show. It was at a 37.5 last week, so BitX delivering what it promises. Levered action out here. Down nearly 14 handles, 1363 from where it was this time last week. The ADV ticking up, it's up to 21,000. It puts it up about 1,000 from this time last week. And so far today, it is delivering 31,000 contracts on the tape for BitX. I'll have to go check. This might be the most active day it's ever had out there. The vol also delivering 134 right now, up 17 points in the 30-day vol for BitX. My goodness. In terms of top positions, it's still those meaty puts, the 70 puts, no change there. In terms of trades today, the big dog, 1,350 of the 22 puts expiring today. So I said we're at a 23.87, 22 puts going up about 1,400 times today. Looks like paper buying those. I don't have prices. Let me look really quick to see if I can find some prices for those, listeners. 22 puts went up for 95 cents. Interesting. When BitX was exactly $24. So $2 out of the money puts for $1. They have the rest of this week to go. Obviously, you're paying a ridiculous vol. I just said it's in triple digits for BitX, as you would expect. So $1. You need this stock to continue selling off and to do so quite aggressively in order for those puts to pay off. Let's see, how low did BitX hit? Sub 19, 1896 this morning. So those puts were in the money. not too long ago, listeners. So by that analysis, maybe you think those are cheap. But either way, someone paid nearly $1 for those. They need BitX to get moving to the dark side, listeners. As we keep on rolling, let's go out to Mara really quickly, then we'll get out to the altcoin universe for this week. Mara, 16 3/4, down nearly $4, 3 3/4 from our last show. Let's see the range on Mara just today, listeners. Mara got down to 1366. My goodness, and it opened at 1393 today. So again, glass half full, they have rallied about $3 from those lows. So if you want a ray of sunshine, we're still down over $3, nearly $4 from this time last week, but up around $3 from this morning. So pick how you want to interpret that, listeners. 302,000 contracts. That's the ADV. It's actually down 19,000 this time a week ago. I have a feeling it's going to pop after today. There are already 204,000 contracts on the tape as of right now. The vol also at a 107, so looking pretty brisk out there. These SEP 30s, the top position out there right now, 41,000 of those, looking like a distant memory right now, listeners. Don't think we're going to hit the 30 handle anytime soon. But then again, Mara has delivered some crazy action in the past. Speaking of delivering action, let's see what the big dog is out there today before we roll on out to the altcoin universe. 11, nearly 12,000 of the 17 calls going up today out there, listeners. Interesting. For prices around 41 cents. So you like the AUG 17s expiring this week for 41 cents? Somebody did. Thousands of times today up there. And so are threatening a 17 handle. Not looking terrible. Rally from the lows. If you picked them up this morning, they're looking pretty good as we keep on running right on into the altcoin universe.
It's time to move beyond Bitcoin and find out what's moving the rest of the crypto marketplace. It's time to boldly venture into the altcoin universe.
All right, listeners, welcome to the altcoin universe. And it's always a slugfest when we kick it off here with our top 10. Even more so this week. Let's see what it costs you to break into the top 10 right now. Obviously going to be lighter this week after the bloodletting that's gone on across the crypto markets. And it cost you a little bit shy of $11.5 billion, $11.4 billion to break into the top 10 right now. That gets you to our old friend Cardano. So we're off over $2 billion in terms of what it costs you to break into the top 10 right now. Cardano, like we said, $11.4 billion at number 10. Number 9, Toncoin, $13.4 billion. So hanging out pretty much close to where it cost you not too long ago to break into the top 10. Number 9, Toncoin. Number 8, our old pal Doge. So Doge managing to hold on to its number 8 spot in this bloodletting. $13.9 billion worth of market cap for Doge. Number 7, XRP. Man, they were just talking about maybe XRP getting its next lift. Got into the 60-cent range. Hasn't seen that in a while. And then back to 48, 49 cents, $27.4 billion with a market cap for number 7, XRP. Number 6, USD Coin, $33.7 billion. Number 5, our old pal Solana, $62 billion, almost exactly for market cap. Number 4, BNB, $68 billion. Number 3, it's Tether, $114.5. Number 2, it's ETH, coming in hard this week, listeners, $295. ETH holders not going to like that. And number 1, it is Bitcoin, still managing to hold on to 1T, but just barely, 1.07 trillion worth of market cap for Bitcoin. Of course, got below it earlier this morning when it dipped below 50K. Well, let's get out to our old pal ETH, listeners. And again, going to be a painful one for ETH holders, so just strap in, listeners. ETH, as we kicked off the show, 2472. It's down a whopping 844 handles from this time last week when we got 316. That's the biggest move I've seen in ETH in a week in a long time, listeners. That's a bloodletting out there. But again, if you want a glass half full little nugget for you, we were at 2172. That was the low earlier this morning. So we're exactly 300 handles off the low. So there you go. Down 844 on the week, but up 300 today. Pick which data point you want to sink your teeth into, listeners. Let's get into the vol, and this is where we're going to see it playing out here, listeners. Vol, to put it mildly, juicy out there right now. Weekly vol at a 103. That's up exactly 50 handles. We were at a 53 this time a week ago. So weekly vol, I think the technical term is popping, listeners. A 30-day vol also feeling the effects. 57 this time a week ago. 79 right now. So up 22 points on the week. And even the hodler is looking a little bit juicier. 67.5 last week, 77 right now in the 6-month vol, so up nearly 10 points on the week out there. So yeah, it's hard to ignore just the annihilation that's been going on out here in ETH right now, listeners. Just a drubbing, whatever you want to call it. A skew-wise, also feeling the effects, but again, maybe not as dire as you thought, so we'll get into it. 7-day skew, the weekly skew, we were almost exactly flat a week ago. Positive 0.2, that is flat. Coming in to start the show right now, negative 10. You might say, oh my goodness, the sky is falling. They are really leaning towards the dark side, but the weekly skew got down to a negative 25 earlier this morning, right around when we were at the lows for the day and the week. Negative 25, listeners. So talk about pronounced bearish sentiment earlier this morning. That has obviously mitigated, so 15 points above that now in the weekly skew. So again, if you're looking for your glass half full data point, there you go. Not as bad as it was earlier this morning. Same thing for the 30-day skew. It was a positive 1.1 this time a week ago. Negative 2.8. And I'd say, oh, that's actually not that bad. Got down to about a negative 4 this morning. So again, the 30-day skew tends to be a little bit more level-headed, and that's what we're seeing out there right now. Negative 4 is about as bad as it got. Even in the teeth of the sell-off, I expect a little bit more juice to the downside in the skew as well. So maybe showing saner, calmer, cooler heads are prevailing out there. And they certainly are on the 6-month skew. They're shrugging this off like it's nothing, listeners. Last week, the 6-month skew, listeners, was a positive 4.4 right now. Positive 4.5, actually ticking up a tenth of a point. So hodlers are shrugging off what amounts to the biggest annihilation we've seen in ETH in a week in quite some time. I'll have to go back and find another week where we really saw ETH take it on the chin this aggressively, but my goodness, those hodlers, they're made of some stern stuff, listeners. Obviously, a lot of ETH ETPs and ETFs went live recently. We're kind of doing a Just the Facts MAM edition right now, so I didn't have a chance to get all the data for those, but we'll check in on those. They're still kind of light, obviously, as well from a volume perspective, and no options yet, so not much to sink our teeth into there, but we'll keep an eye on those. Obviously, they're feeling the impact as well as we go on to the rest of the altcoin universe and we get out of here for this Just the Facts MAM edition, gets you back to your trading. Solana. They're coming forward as well. 186 on the show last week, 186 and about a half, 133.61, so down around 53 handles from where we were this time a week ago. I don't have much to give you on the conciliatory front for Solana. I'm sure it has bounced off the low from this morning, but my goodness, just a drubbing out there across the board. I suppose if you're a long-term bull of Solana, then you could say this is a great buying opportunity, perhaps. So there you go, listeners. If you're looking for a little bit of optimism, let's see. Looks like this morning we got down to about 110. So if you want that ray of sunshine, we have bounced about 20-odd handles from the low this morning. So there you go. If you're looking for that ray of sunshine, even though we have turned a little bit again, got up to about 135 right before showtime and back down to 131 right now. So maybe it's just a bit of a dead cat bounce, or maybe that was a great buying opportunity. Either way, Solana still feeling the heat. XRP we just talked about is 60-odd cents a week ago, 49 cents right now, down 11 cents. So unfortunately for the holders of XRP, you've been holding for a long time. Got to keep holding. Doge, my goodness, they're coming for it. 12.9, so almost 13 cents a week ago. 9.5 cents right now. Ooh, over 3 cents to the dark side for Doge. Not a good week for the Doge folks. Litecoin, 73.71 a week ago. 56.53 right now, down $17.18. Cardano, 41 cents a week ago. 31 cents right down about 9. Polkadot, 571 a week ago, 421 right now, off $1.50 exactly. In Polkadot, Shiba, 1,000,000 zeros, 1.6 a week ago, 1.3 right now, so they're coming for Shiba as well. So unfortunately, no Shiba Lambos for any of us this week. And that's going to do it for our Just the Facts edition of the Crypto Rundown. Stay tuned to the rest of the network throughout the rest of the week, listeners. I will be traveling, but you will have a good dose of on-demand content coming at you, including Options Bootcamp. Stay tuned for that one if all this stuff is spooking you out there. Options Bootcamp can help inform you with some great content to keep you level-headed in times like this. I'll be back live on the network on Thursday for the option block, as well as This Week in Futures Options, another show that listeners of this program should be tuning into because we just talked crypto out there last week and probably will do so again fairly soon. Friday, of course, we have volatility views of all this vol has got you spooked. VIX kissing a 60 handle this week. My goodness, haven't seen that in forever. That's got you terrified. You want to tune into Vol Views. That's every Friday. You can get it on demand on the network. Just subscribe to the full network. You get it all. And then come back to the Pro. The optionsinsider.com/pro is the place to go to get access to options oddities. That closes out our week every Friday. Then we're back again next Monday, another episode of the Crypto Rundown. I mean it extra special this week, listeners. Stay safe out there.
The Crypto Rundown is brought to you by Amber Data. If you're entering the digital asset class, you'll need access to granular on-chain and market data from multiple venues to power research, trading, risk management, and compliance. Amber Data delivers comprehensive data and insights into blockchain networks, crypto markets, and decentralized finance, empowering financial institutions to apply traditional finance methods to digital assets. Amber Data eliminates the infrastructure setup, integration challenges, and maintenance headaches to access digital asset data, reducing cost and time to market to enter the digital asset class. Learn more and download their digital asset data guide at www.amberdata.io. You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com.